Welcome to our Trump Briefing Show. Today, we're diving into a hot topic: Canada's Green Party being left out of recent debates. Despite their solid platform on climate and social justice, their absence means fewer voices in the Democratic mix, and many are calling for more inclusive discussions. Next, we're talking about gold hitting record highs as the world faces economic turmoil. Investors are flocking to gold for safety, pushing prices to over $3,424 an ounce, but experts warn to stay cautious amid market volatility. Lastly, Hollywood's latest stunt, 3 actors appointed as U.S. ambassadors for the film industry, are shrouded in mystery. What are they really doing? Critics are skeptical about their involvement, making it a curious case of symbolism versus substance. Please continue to watch for more details. The Toronto Star emphasizes the critical issue of political representation and democratic participation by highlighting the exclusion of the Green Party from recent debates and discussions. The Green Party, which has published a comprehensive 124-page platform emphasizing care for citizens, the environment, and global responsibility, is being silenced despite its significant policy proposals. The decision to exclude the Greens, especially when other regional parties like the Bloc Québécois are included, underscores a troubling disregard for diverse voices in Canadian politics. Raymond Beauchemin laments that strategic voting excuses are causing many voters to silence their true preferences, thereby weakening democratic discourse. The Green Party's platform, with its bold plans for fair taxation, climate action, and social justice, deserves a platform for debate, but its absence reflects a broader problem of marginalizing voices that challenge the status quo. The media and political discourse are also criticized for their language and framing, as seen in Marilyn McKim's critique of how Trump's administration's actions are described. She argues that terms like downsizing or deportation are euphemisms that obscure the gravity of government overreach and injustice. McKim calls for more precise and honest language that accurately reflects the seriousness of these actions, emphasizing that governments are not businesses and that the language used by the media shapes public perception. This critique underscores the importance of responsible journalism in holding power to account and ensuring that language does not inadvertently legitimize harmful policies or diminish their impact. On the economic front, gold prices are soaring amid global uncertainty, driven by fears of trade wars, political instability, and potential inflation. As Donald Trump's tariffs and threats to the Federal Reserve's independence fuel investor anxiety, gold has reached record highs, with spot prices hitting over $3,400 per ounce. This surge reflects a widespread search for safe havens during turbulent times, though experts caution that gold investments are volatile and not foolproof hedges against inflation. Meanwhile, the U.S. State Department is undergoing a sweeping reorganization under the Trump administration, reducing staff and consolidating bureaus to promote an America First policy. These changes, including cuts to global initiatives like USAID and the elimination of offices focused on diversity and women's issues, reveal a shift toward a more inward-looking foreign policy that prioritizes efficiency over global engagement, raising concerns about the long-term impact on America's international influence and humanitarian efforts. The Toronto Star vividly depicts a Canadian political landscape where Mark Carney's Liberals are perceived as the likely victors in the upcoming election, with a commanding 55% of public confidence favoring Carney's continued premiership. The poll reveals a fascinating two-party race, with Liberals leading in key regions like Atlantic Canada, Ontario, and Quebec, while Conservatives dominate in Alberta and the Prairies. Interestingly, demographic splits show older voters leaning heavily toward the Liberals, while younger voters demonstrate a strong, motivated Conservative base. Despite the polls favoring the Liberals, the race remains unpredictable, especially in British Columbia, where the collapse of NDP support has created a tense contest between Liberals and Conservatives. Voters' top concerns include international trade tensions, inflation, and healthcare, with the current political momentum seemingly favoring Carney's campaign, even as some supporters acknowledge the importance of voter turnout in determining the final outcome. The Independent provides a surprisingly underwhelming update on President Donald Trump's controversial special ambassadors to Hollywood, Sylvester Stallone, Mel Gibson, and Jon Voight, whose roles remain shrouded in mystery amid silence from the administration. Despite Trump's promise that these actors would serve as eyes and ears to bolster the U.S. film industry, there has been little to no tangible action or communication from the envoys, raising skepticism about their actual influence. Industry insiders and local advocates express disappointment and concern that the appointment might be more symbolic than substantive, especially as the U.S. film and TV sector struggles with pandemic repercussions, labor strikes, and the migration of productions to other countries and states. Gibson's surprise at his appointment and Voigt's plans to advocate for pro-American production incentives highlight the uncertain and somewhat superficial nature of this diplomatic effort, leaving many to wonder if it will translate into meaningful support for Hollywood's recovery. Nikkei Asia vividly captures the global currency market's turbulence driven by U.S. policies under Trump, which have spurred investors to flee the dollar in favor of the yen, seen as a safer haven amid economic uncertainty. The yen briefly surged past 139 against the dollar, reflecting a widespread shift as traders react to Trump's tariffs and the resulting fears of a slowing U.S. economy. Meanwhile, the European Central Bank's recent rate cuts and the Bank of Japan's hints at continued rate hikes create a complex landscape of monetary policy divergence, intensifying capital flows into the yen. The European rate reductions and the U.S.'s threatened rate hikes have widened interest rate differentials, prompting record net purchases of yen by speculators. These movements underscore the fragile interplay between geopolitical risks, monetary policy, and investor sentiment, with the yen's status as a safe haven solidified amid the uncertainty surrounding Trump's trade tactics and global economic prospects. From The Independent, the story about Pete Hegseth's fiery appearance on Fox and Friends paints a vivid picture of a man exuding raw, unfiltered masculinity and unwavering confidence. Hegseth, the defense secretary, is portrayed as a quintessential alpha male, whose intense demeanor and aggressive rhetoric serve as a stark contrast to the usual calm of political discourse. His passionate defense of internal leaks, which he dismisses as betrayal by leakers and attempts to frame as part of a broader narrative of national security and American strength, reveals a man committed to projecting power and resilience. Clad in a war-fighting ethos, Hegseth dismisses concerns about internal dissent, instead emphasizing a narrative of victory, highlighting military recruitment surges and dismissing accusations of the deep state with bravado. His theatrical, almost hypermasculine persona is further accentuated by his dismissive attitude towards media criticism and his insistence on standing unbothered by political opposition, culminating in a bizarre, patriotic spectacle that emphasizes strength, loyalty, and an unyielding stance against any perceived threats or questions. According to The Independent's coverage of George Clooney's reflections on Elon Musk's controversial Nazi salute, the actor's decision to include footage of Musk's gesture in his Broadway adaptation of Good Night and Good Luck underscores a broader commentary on accountability and symbolism in modern media. Clooney's remarks reveal a nuanced stance, acknowledging the ambiguity of Musk's salute while emphasizing the importance of context and personal responsibility. He points out that Musk's retweets, which downplay the Holocaust, could be interpreted as a Nazi salute, prompting viewers to scrutinize the implications of such symbols in the digital age. Clooney's critique extends to the media landscape, contrasting Musk's provocative actions with the journalistic integrity of figures like Edward R. Murrow, and stressing that the footage is presented without manipulation, leaving the audience to draw their own conclusions. This approach highlights the ongoing tension between free expression and the dangerous symbolism that can be associated with public figures, emphasizing the importance of accountability in a world where gestures and words can carry profound historical weight. From Nikkei Asia, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance's diplomatic tour in India reveals a strategic effort to deepen bilateral ties through military, energy, and economic cooperation. Vance's speeches emphasize the importance of the U.S.-India partnership, highlighting plans to expand defense sales, including cutting-edge military technology like F-35 fighter jets, and to strengthen energy exports to foster mutual growth. His praise for Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi underscores a shared commitment to regional stability, especially amidst rising Chinese influence in the Indo-Pacific. Vance's advocacy for joint military exercises and co-production of munitions reflects a desire to build a resilient alliance rooted in mutual strength rather than conflict. He also advocates for reducing trade barriers and increasing American energy exports to India, framing these initiatives as vital for both nations to thrive in the 21st century. Vance's optimistic outlook underscores a vision of a prosperous, peaceful future driven by collaboration, emphasizing that the success of this partnership could shape global stability, while warning that failure to unite might lead to a darker, more uncertain future. In St. John's East, economic security dominates the electoral conversation, with candidates from all parties emphasizing the importance of strong leadership and practical solutions. Liberal Joanne Thompson, a former fisheries minister and nurse-turned-entrepreneur, advocates for a leadership that understands economics and global trade, favoring Mark Carney's experience to steer through turbulent times. Conservative David Brazil promises honest, no-nonsense representation focused on creating jobs, fair pay, and better access to social services, criticizing the disparity between Newfoundland's wealth and the benefits received. Mary Shortall of the NDP, a lifelong union leader, highlights affordability and the struggles of everyday residents, recalling the support felt under former MP Jack Harris. Meanwhile, Otis Crandall of the Green Party and Sam Creed of the Communist Party focus on long-term environmental solutions and housing affordability, respectively, emphasizing that real change requires dedicated, tangible efforts like building homes and addressing climate issues. Overall, the race reflects a community eager for economic stability, social support, and sustainable progress amid ongoing challenges. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Turn on the TV screen, see the world unseen. China's on the news tonight, history in the spotlight. Scroll through my phone again, find out where to begin. Stories from the east to west, learning from the very best. News in China every day, learning in a fun new way. From the cities to the farms, feel the heartbeat, feel the charm. Ancient tales in modern times, mountains high and river rhymes. Culture rich in every town, golden driving never down. Every headline a new friend, from beginning to the end, connecting hearts through every word. China's story always heard. News in China every day, learning a fun new way. From the cities to the farms, feel the heartbeat, feel the charm. Every headline a new friend, from beginning to the end, connecting hearts through every word. China's story